Hello and welcome. First of all, a very happy Independence Day to everybody. It's obviously a pretty special occasion generally in India, and it must be said that it's important not just to have this feeling of Happy Independence Day, this feeling of unity, not just on this day but across other days in the entire year as well, and to make sure that you keep things constructive. It should not be a celebration that just finishes it one day. We must all come together for all the good causes that we all believe in. We should all respect each other. We should respect each other's uh, religious beliefs. We should respect each other's freedoms, and all of that should be a round the year engagement, not just on one specific day. But yes, August 15th is always a good day to be able to reinforce that sense and to talk about the things that matter, and to also congratulate each other on the long journey that we have come together for over the last 77 years, now going on 78. Well, with that being said, it's my pleasure to welcome you on into another new show on this channel. We've had some interesting streams of late, and today I'm quite pleased to announce that my guest today is Priyanka Lahiri, who's a fitness coach and a sports nutritionist. And we'll generally talk about a few questions which you posed, few questions that we have identified as typically the ones which are asked by people when it comes to things like fitness, health, diet, nutrition, and hopefully we'll have some constructive suggestions, some good answers for you, and maybe you'll all go away from this a little better informed. And just to give you a brief introduction, Priyanka, for those many of you would be familiar with her work, but she's been a sports nutritionist and a fitness coach for the last three and a half years or so, and she has a pretty big repertoire of clients already, and it's a very it's a mission which is very close to her heart. So before I go any further, or before we go any further, Priyanka, why don't you tell us a little bit about your own personal fitness journey, how it all began? Because 10 years ago you ventured into fitness more almost recreationally, but now it's become pretty much your life.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah. Huh. So, recreational, it was more because I have always struggled with weight when I was in my mid 20s, and there was a lot to do with some metabolic disorders like hypothyroidism, and I was also diagnosed with PCOS. And so So definitely weight loss was a very, very difficult journey for me till I actually gave up mostly because I mean whatever I tried, nothing was working. But a large part of it was that I wasn't very active, and which in retrospect I realized that could have been one of the biggest reason for me to struggle with weight, and also a lot of lifestyle changes. But how I got into it is because I saw someone I know posting videos of her lifting weights, and for me it was something very nice to watch, and very empowering because for the first time out of TV sports, I saw someone I know was lifting deadlifts and doing these power movements, and it looked very fancy to me. So I wanted to understand what it is, and I just asked her, I want to know. I mean, it looks very interesting to. I want to give it a try. So she said, "Come over," and then I went to the gym, and I started working, and I quite enjoyed it more than anything else. I mean, I just thought that कुछ होना तो है नहीं. I mean, weight loss तो हो नहीं रहा है. Exercising to lose weight is boring because मुझे भी पता है कुछ होने वाला है नहीं. So might as well enjoy this process. And I was literally enjoying it because lifting weights and then suddenly going from 40 kgs to 50 kgs to 60 kgs, you feel very happy to accomplish something. And a lot of my energy was going into understanding how I can lift heavier. And then I did start losing weight after that. I mean, at least the process started. I started seeing changes in my body, and because of that, I also started thinking about, like, now how can I really improve on my other part of this as diet. Like I started getting a little more aware about how much protein you should be consuming. What should be the lifestyle change that a person with hypothyroidism should have apart from diet and workout. How to fix a lot of problems that I have. And then I also later in the journey I also got coached by my coach Chirag, and then he introduced me to the quantification of diet and understanding. A lot of unlearning happened because I used to skip a lot of carbs. I used to just have soup and all those things. And I started eating properly. And with the exercises, then I started seeing a lot of changes. And that kept me going. And what happened is obviously I started seeing results, but the enjoyment even became better because I also became stronger. I was able to, with the help of different changes and lifestyle changes, quitting alcohol was also one huge part of that, and that has really helped me a lot. Then and each time you feel motivated because you are getting older as a woman, getting into your 40s, knowing that you are able to come back to the weight that you were in when you were in school, and and you are lifting heavy. No one wants to. I don't think anyone would want to go back. I mean, no one would want to go back to that place where I was in before, where I'm falling and I'm having knee pain while walking up the stairs. No one wants to go back to that. So yeah, that made me continue also study more about what this was becoming my passion. So I was wanted to study more about it because obviously as a coach you have to know more. You have to keep learning. And I mean, one thing led to the other, and then here I am. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, so we'll since we did promise that this will be a Independence Day special, and we'll also answer a few queries that people have. We'll try and bust a few myths. So one of the questions which came early on was from Jimmy Bogle, who's also been a part of this stream. So his question essentially was that is gymming a necessity for fat loss? Since you're the expert, your take on this.
So, fat loss and weight loss has three components. One is diet, and the second one is exercise. And to answer that question, we have to first get into why people find it hard to lose weight. There are many reasons, and one being that once you start losing muscle mass when you keep aging, when you're not active, when you're not burning enough calories in a day to uh, be on a calorie deficit. And gymming, what it does is basically going to a gym allows yourself to do resistance training. All right. So that can be done at home also. And I mean, going to the gym per se is not necessary, but doing resistance training, whether in the gym or at home, it becomes a very, very important part of fat loss and improving your physique per se. Now, a lot of people may not find it conducive to be able to go to gym, so it's very good to do things at home. But gymming has its own advantage because if you're new to exercising and you will be more susceptible to a lot of injuries. And gym does provide certain machines which are they are stable and help you do the same work with lower risk of injury. So, having said that, no, it is not necessary to go to the gym. If you have uh, weights at home, if you have dumbbells at home, resistance bands at home, you can do the same thing at home with a good set of exercises. Yeah.
Another thing, we'll keep coming back also to draw from your experience because you've now been a coach for closing on 4 years. One thing which I'm sure you would agree is that in India, one big challenge is the importance of good nutrition from a very young age, because there are so many myths which surround us, questions about the utility of vegetarianism. Many Indian families tend to be staunchly vegetarian, which means they also forsake eggs, which are such a crucial source of protein. So what is your advice generally to, maybe somebody who wants to be an athlete, is a young person at the moment, or parents who are, nurturing a young athletic talent at home? What would your advice be overall to give them a good direction in terms of nutrition?
All right. So, a lot, a lot of our nutritional decisions, I mean, in India, are taken mostly with the help of beliefs, and unfortunately, there are a lot of unscientific beliefs. There are a lot of things that are not verified, and in a when you're generally leading a normal life, I mean, the impact of that nutritional decision is not that much. But once you have a goal, certain set of uh, mm, things you aspire from, for whether it's for your child or whether it's for yourself, whether you want to do a lot of distance running, or whether you want to become a sporting athlete, or whether you want to become a bodybuilder, or whatever, like just improve on the physique and everything at a higher level, a better level, then it becomes very, very important to uh, separate beliefs from your goals. There are things that you
Mm,
need to do, and there are things that you feel like. For example, see, we are no one to judge, or we are no one to impose any belief on someone. If someone wants to stay vegetarian, they have to. If someone wants to completely turn vegan, which is not even like milk or dairy, they have their own beliefs, and it has nothing to do with fitness goal. So, but then once you want certain goals to be achieved, you need to be aware of what restriction and what kind of choices are creating what results. Like, for example, there are, for a non-vegetarian, they have some advantage in terms of the choice of protein that they have. Some advantage. I mean, vegetarians also have advantage, obviously, but those are not being met, in the sense that, like, vegetarian needs a high, good amount of protein in their diet. All right, as most of the people are not having that much protein, because even the vegetarians do not like their preferred source of protein. So when you are talking about an athlete or an athletic goal, there are certain things you need to quantify and add in your diet on a daily basis, no matter what. Like how much protein you're consuming, how much carbs you're consuming, what kind of carbs you should be consuming. Like now, animal protein has its own advantage from micronutrition point of view as well. Some vegetarian sources are there for with they are equally advantageous, but uh, I mean, people do not want to consume them on a daily basis because it becomes very boring. So vegetarians are also left with lesser choices sometimes. Even non-vegetarians do, when they are getting, like, we can eat anything, but when you are an athlete, you only choose the lean source of protein, which is less fat, high protein, lesser. So there also you cannot just have anything and everything. So even so, and then secondly, there's a lot of myths being propagated which have uh, no standing, and it can
mm,
have a huge impact on someone's health. Like, for example, I see a lot of people asking this question to me: Can hypothyroidism be reversed, or can congenital diabetes be reversed, and a lot of things people. So there are a lot of people, thanks to this social media and new age, I mean, one unverified fitness influencers, we have a lot of myths happening. How to improve this, how to improve that. Quick solutions, like you have dhania water to cure hypothyroidism, or want to be done if you are diabetic instead of fixing the real problem. I mean, a lot of things that are generated because of beliefs, and also because of lack of enough nutritional knowledge. So what I want people to do is they have specific goals, they need to understand how much can they go. What is on stake. How serious are you about it? If you are a parent of a child who wants to play sports in future, you have to take care of his nutrition from the very beginning. I mean, you cannot expect him to become an adult and then take care of his nutrition, because that's the growing time. That's where you can make or break uh, an athlete. If a child is studying and doing sports training like completely and not even having uh, enough protein in his diet, eating only less carbs, and like basically doing whatever they feel like, and so it does impact their their body when they are overtraining themselves. So all these things are very very important when when you're choosing a profession or when you're choosing a specific goal. So that's when you have to uh, then decide. It's a very tough choice when you have to decide that, okay, I have these set of beliefs. I need to go to a specific sports nutritionist or a specific specialist for my goals. And I need to understand what is important for me. And if I understand that, what are the reasons from very scientifically. Like uh, if you're saying that I will only have veg or vegetarian, what is the source of protein which is the best for me, and what do I lose out on from minerals, and like chicken has selenium, B12, which probably other source of vegetarian sources won't have. So we need to know what is required and what needs to be done. So yeah, that's where a little bit of objectification will be very important.
Uh,
So
one
yeah.
more thing which I wanted to sort of bring up is the fact that when normally you go up to anybody and you tell them that you should exercise, you should get a good diet going. A lot of people sometimes bring up age as an excuse. They'll say that no, I've already crossed whatever 40 or 50 or 60. And on the flip side, I've seen that you and your colleagues have a few mentees among yourselves who are in their late 60s, ladies who also lift and lift like nobody's business. So, what has this journey been like in terms of mentoring people across ages, and particularly inspiring or getting inspired, in fact, from a lot of elderly people who have taken to a lot of the regimes that you've given and executed them with perfection?
I would say we have been very lucky to have found such clients who have been open to making changes with regardless of what their age is. But by and large, people are very, very driven by their limitations that the
Mm.
society has created for them. Uh, for me, I mean, age is not just a number. I mean, I will never say that, because obviously there are some limitations that we have when we age. But I also see that there are too many self-created limitations that people have, even in their late 20s. I mean, so training people who have been able to break that barrier for themselves, that is very, very inspiring. Because sometimes even we don't know as coaches how where they can, like, what is their real potential. So I would not say that it's an excuse. I mean, I would say it's lack of self-awareness, and when you have lack of self-awareness and lack of practice of someone who probably could have been a good 100 meters runner in his school, but he kept studying throughout in his school, and he could have he has like someone who has very strong body, genetically very strong and capable of doing much much more, but they have not really explored it. So this becomes our focus in training, to understand what their potential is. Most of the time they come to us for validation. simple weight loss. But then quite a few of them through their journey realize that, okay, I want to do this better. I want to run better. I want to lift heavier. And that goes for, and that limitation is both for men and women, and both of them get astounded by what they are able to do sometimes. You know, so there are two parts of this. Age is not just a number, obviously, but then from when it comes to exercises, if, uh, everyone everyone starts from zero. I mean, I would very nicely say that like one of my 70-year-old clients is probably stronger than a, an average 25-year-old per person that I have trained, because he has just done it for longer period of time.
Hmm.
That's the only difference.
Hmm.
So body responds to how much time you give to what you're doing rather than what your age limitations are. So definitely in terms of lifting, body is much better, especially with women who are lower body strength is amazing, but most of the time women, they spend their entire life without knowing what are, because we are so engrossed in our daily things,
Sure, sure, sure.
struggles. Yeah.
So just continuing on the theme, I have noticed that in recent times, of course, the last major certification that you did was in sports nutrition, and you are also looking at clinical nutrition as well as one of your specializations, and you have mentored a lot of sports persons as well, and we are increasingly seeing that sports science is playing a big role in the sports career of all our athletes, um, not just the usual cricketers or say per se. We saw recently in the Olympics as well how important and critical a role the support staff played. So as nutritionist, what are the things that you look at when say a sports person comes to you and wants to improve their performance? How do you try and analyze that, and what are the good responses that you've seen from several of them?
So, two things that are very, very important for a sportsman. I mean, for a sports nutritionist or a sporting coach to analyze. One is your mindset, the current mindset, and your, because the emotions, your state of mind plays very, very important role in how you are performing. Second one is what is a sporting need in three phases. One is in the preparation stage, one is in the competition phase, and one is in the recovery phase. Like, so, all three phases are different. So first of all, we have to understand what their goals are. What do you want to do? Some of the athletes, they come to us, or some of the people who come to us with athletic goals, they have too many goals in their head. I also want to lift heavier. I also want to run 21K. I also want to lose fat. So, first step is to streamline what needs to be done first. So some goals can be achieved together, but some goals do have different way of tackling it. So we need to understand from that person what is your first priority. Because if we don't decide on that, there will be a lot of confusion and expectation from the client. That why am I losing weight, and I mean, I'm losing fat, my physique is getting better, but I'm not feeling good. So all these things do happen. So second thing that needs to be understood is what is their current nutritional levels? Where are they lacking? That's why so first couple of weeks are going to be all about scaling their performance and understanding what is happening and where it can be improved. And then making a blueprint of what we expect from them is in the long term and the short term, and if they have a specific goal, is it achievable? Is it realistic? There are a lot of people come to me and say, I want to be able to run 5K in 1 month. It may be possible for some people, it may not be possible for some people. It's definitely not possible for many people if they are completely new. And the most important part is well-being of the sportsman. I mean, not just to go by what they said, I want to do this. We have to also tell them what is a healthy and a sustainable and responsible way of progressing instead of just going by their whims. In fitness, I always say that client is not always right because they don't know. I mean, that's very hard to tell them. This is our job to tell them what is right. Hmm.
So
So
just
yeah.
yeah, going back to one point which we were making earlier, a common thing which I have noticed a lot of friends have mentioned sometimes, when they start gymming, they are unable to fathom why. Uh, on the look of it, they seem to be losing fat, but they also gain weight. So, is there any science to it? Is it a common phenomenon that when you also build muscle, you end up gaining a little bit of weight? Should they not be worried about such a development?
It's a common sense. Muscles also have
Mm.
weight.
Hmm.
So, so when you're gaining muscles, you are gaining muscle weight. So fat loss faster than muscle gain as such. But sometimes for a newcomer, both of them happen at the same time. Someone who's new to fitness or new to strength training, body responds much faster. So when you're doing a recomposition, where the body's composition is changing, how much of muscle mass will be there, how much of fat will be there, all these things are very dynamically happening. So some weeks you might feel that you have lost a lot of fat, but you have gained weight. It's because obviously you lost fat, but you also gained muscle weight, which probably was the value was much more than the fat loss rate. So you on scale, it looks like you gained weight. That this is a very common factor in a lot of people who are on the weight loss or if so that's the reason I keep telling people to not focus on the weighing scale. It's for me, it's very important to focus on the inches, how your body is
Mm.
changing, how the body is shaping up. I've seen a lot of people who are painted, even though they see themselves in the mirror and pictures, we see that they look much much better. But on the weighing scale, they are showing it's not showing, it's not matching up because we have this mental visual of losing weight in our head. Like someone who loses weight should become smaller, but some people become smaller and their weight goes up, and then it completely goes out of the syllabus. So
Mhm.
these things happen. Yeah, happen because of this. It's very normal. It's very normal. Yeah. Yeah.
One more thing which I think is worth addressing, because in the span that you have been a fitness coach, what the world has also seen a massive transformation, in the sense that COVID came, and COVID, thankfully, most of it has passed us by, but some of it still remains. I'm sure a lot of mentees that you've had have been stricken by various stages of COVID. What are some of the challenges that then they've had to encounter, and how have you, as coach, been able to help them ride through it? What have been the challenges for you as coach to train somebody who's had a bout of COVID? Uh, because I'm sure many readers or many of our observers here would want to relate to that because they've had that experience themselves.
Uh, Two factors are direct that happened during COVID. That is, one is the direct impact of the COVID itself on the body, and it has been
Mm,
it has been very different with everyone. I
sure.
mean, some of us who had COVID, we did not even feel it as asymptomatic people, but some people had multiple COVID, and some people had like COVID, and they took months to recover. So breathing difficulties, their lung capacity got compromised. Systematically, the resistance went. Resistance to food went up for a lot of people. I mean, there have been so many different cases, but and a lot of people have been immobile for quite some time. So for them, the coming back to gaining energy uh, became very, very difficult. So, and the second part of COVID was the lockdown itself. During the COVID, people who did not realize how sedentary they became because of that. So many of the lifestyle changes happened because of that, and that itself was a bigger factor for a lot of people to become unfit or lose their current fitness. So I have been tackling both. I mean, uh, I mean, different people have different things to tackle. A lot of people have still haven't been able to get out of this mode, where we're working from home. So um, during lockdown, some of us found this as a reason or an opportunity to be able to work on ourselves. And some people felt that, oh, I'm not able. Instead of working out, also spending more time on the computer with the at work, and not moving at all. So all these lifestyle changes individually happen to different people. The weight loss, like I say that, when I get into this whole mentoring or like planning the ways for everything to work, how this program is going to be, a large part of it is about tackling all the lifestyle issues that are being becoming the impediment in the weight loss or reaching the weight goals, whether it's about sleep habits or whether it's about managing time. um, a lot of people who claim that they don't even know how to do more than 2000 steps now are doing 10, 12,000. Before I do anything, I just give them tips on how to improve on that, making like good choices. I mean, because of COVID, a lot of these um, online food ordering has become huge, and it's still huge. But
Mhm.
it's very difficult to change people suddenly. So you start guiding them towards making the right choices when you're ordering food and all those things. So these things make a lot of difference. So eventually people stop. I mean, people get into the right path when they know that, okay, I want to see more changes in me. But the real struggle is for people who uh, actually lost stamina. So building their stamina back up, making sure their heart rate is on the zone 2 and zone 3, and not giving them exercises which suddenly can snap them. Uh, uh, I mean, so building their muscles back after muscle loss that happened, improving their cardiovascular health through different things, improving their HbA1c and insulin sensitivity. All these things are real bad impacts that happen to people. And also lipid profiles went up, or like people's lipid profiles became completely different, like very bad. So all these things are interrelated. Health, visceral fat. So all these things had to be systematically handled with the help of dietary changes, proper systematic restrictions, what needs to be done more, what needs to be done less. All these things are very individual. Can't generalize because the COVID effects were so different for every single person.
A question which has come on Instagram from a common friend that we have, Tony. Tony asks that what are the vitamins and minerals that one must have? Are there any supplements which one can have safely? Are there any ones which are worth avoiding?
I mean, you should only have any vitamins or minerals if you are deficient. Most of the vitamins and minerals are available in your healthy, well balanced diet. I mean, you don't even need multivitamin, to be honest. I mean, unless you actually have a deficiency which you can this is not even required. Um, Vitamins, multivitamins, and like the iron and all these, randomly people have it. See if it doesn't have any benefit beyond what you can actually eat, like having all different colors of vegetables and fruits.
Hmm.
Oh, if you're not able to eat that at all, which I don't think it's impossible, it's possible. I mean, you can force yourself or sometimes like change your lifestyle to eat more balanced meal and various different options and various different kind of proteins, carbs, and sources. Keep rotating all different colors on your plate. You don't even require multivitamins. As a sportsman, no, I mean, even the only two supplements that I feel is has a good impact on your fitness is one is whey protein or plant protein supplement, because supplement only because if you're not able to complete your protein from your natural home cooked diet. And second one is creatine. These two are very safe and the best to be, like, they have a good impact for energy. Not supplement, but caffeine is a very good source. I mean, the other day, the liver doctor also posted a very good research that caffeine has can improve your liver conditions as well. Other than that, any other supplement, including vitamin D, including ca- calcium, they all should be only taken if you gotten your blood test done and you see deficiency, or if your doctor has asked you to take. Um, Other than that, if it's not necessary, don't think about it. Just have your proper meals.
Yeah, I just wanted to come back to a couple of points which we did touch upon briefly, just to expand them slightly. We spoke about how a lot of these programs nowadays promote, reversing of diseases, which may not be scientifically possible, which may not be accurate, but it is out there. There are many people who propose to do it, or supposedly do it. And the second thing, which you briefly mentioned, was that in many societies, and particularly in Indian society, women often get neglected in terms of both their health, their nutrition, their welfare, because they just spend so much of their time multitasking at several things. So just to combine the two, from your experience, I'm sure what you're observing is that increasingly a lot of women at a younger age are developing a lot of disorders, which can potentially, if not arrested, they can potentially cause a lot of harm. So what advice would you give them, and is there now a reason for people, increasingly younger people, to start getting regular blood tests done and varied blood tests done, just to be able to identify any potential threat?
And not just women, men are also neglecting their health from the very young age. And these days, they are no longer active the way they used to be. They are no longer, because of inclusion of a lot of junk food and a lot of lifestyle disorders like lack of sleep, which is so important for everyone, and the exercise, physical activity. These things were naturally human beings are supposed to be doing, which is not happening. What we are living right now is a very unnatural lifestyle situation where you don't even see kids playing on the street. I mean, they're literally spending the whole day um, watching TV or playing video games. I mean, these things do, and parents are constantly on the phone or on the laptop. This was never there. I mean, but we are naturally using our hands, our legs. Our body is supposed to be doing that, and it's not happening these days. And that's the reason a lot of lifestyle disorders are happening to men and women both. I mean, women are susceptible to it because hormones get involved. PCOS and PCOD both are actually lifestyle disorders. Some of them are genetic, some of them are lifestyle related. And whatever is the lifestyle related is happening because of more because of stress, lack of sleep, eating uh, unhealthy food choices, alcohol, lack of movement, lack of uh, lack of the movement that is required. Some people just go for walks for half an hour, they think they are active, but at that point of time it may not be enough. Mhm. Same for men. I mean, there's a huge drop of testosterone is happening to a lot of young boys and girls. Boys, I mean, their hormones are also taking a hit. So if you notice, the fertility rates have also gone down. So if you go to most of the cities, the fertility centers are have really mushroomed. So there's a need for this because a lot of people are not able to conceive naturally. So It's a this is a wake up call for everyone actually. That however important other things in life is, including your job, it's extremely important that whatever decisions we are making right now will have a huge impact when we get older. And there will be things you can reverse, there will be things you cannot reverse. There are people who turn pre-diabetic or diabetic because of the certain changes in the in your condition also. You were not diabetic, you got diagnosed with cancer and your chemotherapy happened. After that, your pre-diabetic situation started cropping up. And so all these things happen to people. But yeah, I mean, what can be reversed now and what cannot be reversed are two different things. One is it the symptom that you want to reverse? You know, like for example, I have hypothyroidism. Can hypothyroidism be reversed? No, it cannot. It's an autoimmune thing. But can you improve your metabolism despite hypothyroidism? Yes, you can. Can you improve your hair and skin condition despite hypothyroidism? Yes, because these are symptoms. And making lifestyle changes around, basically, you counter the symptoms, but you cannot counter the condition itself. So that
Yes.
condition can only be dealt with medicines. So, but a lot of people who are saying we reverse it, either they have no idea about what are they reversing. Are they reversing the
Mhm.
symptom or the condition? Secondly, there are second kind of people who are worse. They deliberately say the wrong things to attract people. Um, so yeah, I mean, people make a lot of changes in their life. I mean, to reverse a lot of symptoms, some of the things can be improved. Like for example, people who have reversed their fatty liver disease from grade 2 to grade 1 to non-existent, because that is possible, because that is related to how much fat you have in your body. It's in your control. Uh, so the second question is a lot of women who that you have asked who are not taking care of their health. That has been there since forever, and women usually in India usually have this whole sacrificing thought process that everything comes first. The reason it has gotten worse is because we have glorified it.
Correct.
Uh, not only like someone who is very orthodox, but someone who is also seemingly liberal will always smile and say, "Oh, my mom does everything." You still
Mhm.
have that little bit of pride when you say, "My mom gave food and she had less." Um, I know. I mean, it's love, but how? Where do you draw the line? I mean, I have seen women in their 30s who are only taking care of their children and husband's health, and they are literally forgetting about their own nutritional requirement. Women need protein, women need exercise. Unfortunately, you lose muscles when you keep growing old. Men and women lose muscles in an equal rate, but the muscle recovery rate is much much faster than women. And that's the reason why obesity related issues are much, much higher in women. Uh, Knee issues, standing up is difficult. I mean, um, so many other things. I have trained so many women. I mean, I'll run out of space or time to talk about what are the things. But yeah, it's very, very important for men to take care of the health of their wives, mothers, because if they don't stay fit or if they don't stay happy and on their space, or if they are not mobile, then the entire family suffers eventually.
Right, we
Yes.
are into the home
Everyone
stretch of
suffers. Yeah.
yeah, we are
Yeah.
into the home stretch. I've already promoted your links on a few occasions, and if you scroll down actually to the bottom of the page, you'll also find I've given Priyanka's details elsewhere. One final question that we'll take in once again from Tony. He says that he has heard that walking on an incline on a treadmill at 2 to 3 kilometers per hour is said to be more beneficial than running for the same amount of time. 15 incline. Is it true? Is there any truth to it?
No, not at all. In fact, a little more speed and you might end up straining your knee. You see, you unless you are specifically training for hill training, the best thing
Hmm.
would be to walk on the treadmill and increase the pace. If your heart rate goes up, you're burning more calories. Well, I mean, but if you are putting an incline of 6 or 7 and you give up after 5 minutes, don't you think it's better to walk for 1 hour? You'll burn more calories from fat loss point of view. And if you really want to do more, ditch the treadmill and get on the road and walk. That will be more natural as a surface to s- to experience more terrain related, changes. Um, Hill running should be done. A lot of people do incline runs also, but don't put too much of an incline. It will have a major impact on your ankles and knees. Yeah. And if you are basically preparing to become a good runner, it's better to start running at on a flat surface. Improve the steps. Do incline running, or a hill training in a systematic way, not more than once a week. But, from weight loss point of view, on a daily basis, everything that you do should put you on a overall calorie deficit. Then only you will lose fat. Otherwise, you can keep, I mean, doing anything and everything. But if your total for the whole day calorie expenditure is lesser than what you are consuming, you will not lose weight. So, yeah, there's no
Yeah, a lot
benefit
of
as
these are
such.
yes, absolutely. A lot of these are your trade secrets, and which is why I have kept promoting. You can reach out to Priyanka on X at Priyanka Lahiri underscore, and she's also on Instagram at Fitness Coach Priyanka. And through these modes, you can actually get through to her and schedule a call, and get going on your fitness journey. Just as we conclude, Coach, if we can just ask you for some small life hacks for modern lifestyles. Like we mentioned that modern lifestyles are stressful. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of bad habits which creep into people. Post COVID, also things have got exacerbated. So in terms of all of that, what are some simple things which people can perhaps do just to start getting more active, becoming a little healthier, eating better?
Start walking. I mean, start
Hmm.
counting your steps. Very easy and very simple process for someone who is sedentary. I mean, on a daily basis, you don't know how many steps you're completing. Steps is not about only dedicated walk on the road or outdoor walk. It's about how active you are. If your hands and feet are moving, then you're basically burning a lot and lot of calories. A lot of people uh, go to gym and do extensive workouts and then come back home and are completely sedentary. It's very, very important to know that this whole 10,000 steps actually accumulates a lot of calorie burn and also improves your metabolism in the long term. And so start identifying where you can improve your steps. If you're on the phone the whole day, or if you talk on the phone, or if you're watching a lot of YouTube and everything, then do that while walking in the room or somewhere instead of sitting in one place. The second thing is delete these food delivery apps for some time. I mean, just some time. At least till the time you just get out of this whole rut of ordering some things just because it's just a click away. You will be forced to
Yeah.
do things, some fun things with your diet at home. And the third thing that I feel people, benefit a lot after making these changes is um, st- to remove alcohol from your life. Don't you won't even realize how much your body will thank you. One, and secondly, once you get rid of that, you will realize that there's so much more fun things to do with your friends. And you will start forcing yourself to think about other fun things that can be done while connecting. So it's not just about, these three things, if you do it, you'll make a lot of difference to your life. Yeah, this is just the beginning. And after that, obviously, there's some more. We can't cover them all in this session. We have to take
Absolutely.
another half an hour for this. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
We've already talked for about 50 minutes plus, so thank you so much for your valuable time. I think this has been quite informative and quite educative. I'm sure whoever has joined us has come away learning a lot. And as I mentioned before, you can, Priyanka is just a click away. You can reach her on both social media and through her links as well. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to continuing with a similar conversation sometime
And
soon.
thank you for having me. Thank you. Yeah, let's connect soon.